The stage is set for the 2023 Toyota HBCU New York Classic, an embodiment of cultural celebration and community unity. This 5-day extravaganza stands as a testament to the profound influence of HBCUs, their positive impact on diversity, inclusion, and justice, and the exceptional individuals who champion these values. It's billed as the world's largest HBCU homecoming, with an array of captivating events ranging from career fairs and college fairs to dynamic showcases of Greek step performances and spirited battles of the bands. The HBCU New York Classic transcends its title, culminating in a football clash that ignites school spirit and showcases the athletic prowess of HBCUs. The event transcends its role as a celebration. It evolves into a catalyst for change, bridging communities, fostering unity, and amplifying the invaluable contributions of HBCUs to our societal fabric. We welcome Albert Williams, the president and CEO of Sports 1105, the producers of the Classic.
Your words to God is that's our mission, right? Our mission is to amplify HBCUs and also amplify folks that have been positive in the African American community, right?
Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. And you saw HBCUs. That's next week, folks. And it is Friday, and Power 96 says make sure we are wearing an HBCU t-shirt today and every Friday, as I'm sure he is HBCU decked out today. But we got a lot of news this morning. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis delivered. Oh man, if you guys haven't seen this letter she wrote to House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan, Mr. MAGA himself, Mr. Privilege himself, you got to see the letter. We're going to talk about it this morning. I mean, talk about shredding someone. Wow. And 5 retired British police officers yesterday admitted sending offensive and racist social media messages about Prince Harry's wife, of course, Meghan Markle. We're going to talk about that this morning as well. Yeah, that's right. Racist police. It's not just the United States. The descendants of enslaved people who populated a tiny island community are once again fighting local officials who have proposed eliminating protections for the decades help that for decades helped shield the Gullah Geechee residents from high taxes and pressures to sell their land to developers. If you don't know about the Gullah Geechee folks, those are descendants of slaves down in the South. They have fought forever to keep their land that the county has in Georgia and in South Carolina have tried to take forever. We're going to talk about that as well. And former Donald Trump trade advisor Peter Navarro becomes the second close associate, close worker with Donald Trump to be convicted of contempt of Congress for not complying to a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. We'll talk about that as well. And unfortunately, on this date in 1965, the great Dorothy Dandridge, perhaps the most prominent African-American actress of the 40s and 50s, committed suicide in Los Angeles. She had been suffering from a host of financial and emotional problems. We'll talk a little bit about the great Dorothy Dandridge with Barrington in Austin. The boys are back.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, brothers. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Listen, guys, couple of things before we really dive into things. Number one, Coco Gauff. We were talking about her. We had Denise on yesterday as well. We were talking about Coco Gauff. Coco has not only did she advance to the finals yesterday, there was a long delay in the match last night because of environmental or climate protesters. Now, keep in mind, Coco is 19 years old, and she said this. They asked her about the protest and which stopped her match for a long time, and asked her about it. And this is what this 19-year-old had to say. She says it was a bit challenging because it's not like a typical delay, so we didn't know how long it was going to take. We were talking to the supervisor and security, and they said it could be as quick as 5 minutes or as long as an hour. She says it was tough to figure out. But here's what she said that really was impressive. She says, I'm not mad at the protesters. It was done peacefully. 19 years old, going to the U.S. Open finals, and with that type of poise and that type of head on her shoulders. Gotta love her, right, Austin?
No, absolutely. I'm a big fan, of all sports. Tennis is my absolute favorite. I certainly do believe in climate change, but I was, bluntly annoyed, very annoyed with the, with the delay.
Annoyed.
Exactly. I don't know, how crazy one has to be to glue his bare feet to cement in the name of any cause, but okay, that was in part a reason for the delay. But in a post interview, I think you're showing it here, she said that when she woke up yesterday morning, she had a feeling that there was going to be some type of environmental or climate change protest. She thought it would be at the finals and not necessarily during her match last night. And what that said to me was she woke up yesterday already in an intense mindset to play this match, to think about any and all variables that might disrupt her concentration. So kudos to her. I'm glad I'm glad that she won. Well deserved.
Yeah, and Barrington, I know you often have your thoughts on these things, but this young woman, this young superstar she is really we talked about this a little bit yesterday, again with Denise and Rashonda, but she's really necessary, right? You're starting to see one of those throwback athletes, I think.
Yeah, it tickles me to see her growth, because I'm like those folks who support anybody who is black, anybody who's progressive, anybody who's in that type of spotlight, as long as they're not like Kanye West or somebody. But but I am very, very pleased to see her progress. You can see the growth between the past and now, and I'm constantly amazed that, but I applaud that the fact that they protest, because you see, we're I'm always connecting the dots.
Yep.
The protesters in Atlanta that have been trying to stop
Cop
them from
City.
building a cop city.
Mm-hmm.
The district attorney just charged 61 people with RICO.
Yeah.
Under RICO for protesting.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
They claim that it's anarchic to be opposing what this police.
Peter Ducey. Is that how you say his name?
Douchebag.
See, I knew Barrington would catch on quick.
Yeah.
Listen, I was at the White House when this happened the other day, at Karine Jean-Pierre's daily briefing. And this guy, the lack of, obviously there's a lack of respect for anything that's right and anything that's black and anything that's female. He's in the front row, and he stands up and
and he's going on and on. In fact, this Christian Welker, who will no longer be there, by the way. Congratulations, she's got
Beat the press.
a big job
Yeah.
change. So got a chance to congratulate her the other day as well. But you know, he was so disrespectful, and you know, you could see Karine. You know, you could see her demeanor slightly change, and then she's like, you know what, Peter Ducey is certainly not worth me, you know, ripping him a new one here. You know, but
On the floor
Austin,
or in the pocket.
this guy, when you look at him, and you know, he's Fox News, not just because he's Fox News, but you could tell he walks and talks with the air of privilege. He asked her the same question, and she answered it 3 different times. He's going on about President Biden's age. And, listen, she could have easily said, "Hey, dude, what about your boy Mitch McConnell?"
Exactly. Or
No.
or
What-
Donald
what would
Trump.
be- what
Or
would be
Trump.
wrong with that?
Yeah,
Nothing would be wrong with that.
And this is what is so offensive about the disrespect that this sister is shown by him and a few others each and
Day in,
every day. Now,
day
you were
out.
at the White House, Stacey. Today's Friday. You were at the White House on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
So she went through the same nonsense, I'm sure, with him yesterday.
Yep.
And she's going to go through the same nonsense with him today and
Yep.
for the foreseeable future, as long as he's there. No, that's what galls me the most is the hypocrisy. And yes, I am concerned about President Biden's age, but here's what really bothers me about folks who attack the president on his age: the hypocrisy, but also the lack of respect
Right.
for the elderly.
Well, the thing is, we talk, Barrington, about people like Dianne Feinstein, and I mean, it gets ridiculous. But you know, I think the fear in the Biden, in case of Biden, with these, I mean,
Kamala Harris.
it's Kamala.
It's
It's
Kamala
Kamala
Harris.
Harris. At the end of the day, it's Kamala Harris. Exactly. You know, the
That's
fear of
the
having
end of the
another
day.
black in the Oval Office
She was
is
on.
what's driving this.
She was
Yeah.
on CBS the other day. I don't know, 60 Minutes, whatever interview she did with CBS. Sat down with CBS, and they asked her the question: is she ready to be president? You know, because Biden, again, invoking the age factor there. And it's just so absurd. I mean, the question itself, right? Yeah, I understand the question to the vice president, right? Because
But
the
they never
man
asked
is,
Dan Quayle that.
say again,
They never asked Dan Quayle that.
and there's where
And
we
he
go.
was one of the dumbest people walking.
Oh, absolutely.
Still is. And they
Still
never
is.
asked, and they never asked Joe Biden when he was the vice president, "Are you ready to?"
And they didn't
step
ask
in?
George Bush. So if it's a matter of intelligence and competence, you know, but we know what the real deal is. And I mean, man, no, Barack Obama wins in 2009, right? The moment that he gets in, Mitch McConnell says, we're going to make sure we make him a one-term president, right? And the Tea Party is born.
It's born. Yep.
Because, and everything that the country is dealing with Tea Party, MAGA, these racist, white domestic terrorist party, all of that stems from the fact that they are still pissed that Barack Obama became president.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ducey, I have seen it, it's funny because a lot of times I see clips of Peter Ducey on TV, and it's almost like, ha ha ha, look at this, look at what he did today. He's an ass. He's a jackass. And he's arrogant, and he's not that bright because the questions that he asks are stupid.
Elementary, yep. Or have already been answered.
Yeah. And it's all about the gotcha thing. Gotcha.
She should smack him down and swing back and say, let's talk about the $1 billion settlement by your network.
Yeah. But she's too classy to do that.
Yeah.
I should be press secretary. They would run me off of the podium.
and as we said,
you'd be getting a Fani Willis beat down every day.
Yeah.
So,
You know, and I see, and I'm not even sure if I should even lift this up, but this individual from YouTube is posting about Margaret Sanger and founder of Planned Parenthood, and then she goes on to talk about Hillary Clinton. I don't know who is the you voted for Hillary. She or he is referring to, but the Margaret Sanger thing. Let's just be real. That thing was totally taken way out of context. I don't know how much folks really know about that. She talks about in the quote that Margaret Sanger allegedly made way back, 1939, in a letter. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. Totally out of context. She was actually trying to protect Black folks back then when we didn't really have any allies. So anyway, and Mike V says that person is a bot. So whatever.
Yeah, probably on Fox. Probably on Fox payroll.
Probably on Fox News's payroll. Probably, but nonetheless, we started this with Karine and Peter Ducey. What a jerk. And the other jerk in there in that room, Simon, whatever his name, Otiba, who didn't get a chance to ask the question, thank goodness, because he asks asinine things that has nothing to do with anything. They're sent there to disrupt. It's like the real thing about the press briefings, folks. It's about informing the American people, informing the not just voters but all people. What's going on. The National Security Advisor was there to talk about the president's upcoming trips and how they are going about protecting the United States abroad. And you want to talk about this man's age, and you want to continue to talk about this man's age.
But Stacey, in actuality, it is his age is fair game.
It is fair game, but you're in the press briefing. We're talking about national security issues, and you want to continue to ask her in 17 different ways. Is your boss too old? Right. What are you going to say?
Right.
What are you expecting her to say?
It's a wrong place, but I mean, hey.
But it's been asked and answered. It's asked
repeatedly.
I
mean, I agree with State.
I understand that, but I don't have an issue with people asking, because just because she gave an answer doesn't mean that it's going to satisfy her. And this is not at all to justify Peter Ducey, but I think that we as a country need to have a very honest conversation about the gerontocracy that is running.
But there's no question about it. But let's bring in others. Let's bring in Trump in that conversation. Let's bring in Mitch McConnell in that conversation.
Biden is 81. Mitch McConnell is 81. Trump is 81.
Dianne Feinstein is 90.
Dianne Feinstein just turned 90.
Dianne
Feinstein just turned 90. Nancy Pelosi is like 83.
Right.
Clyburn is 81.
Yes.
Steny Hoyer is 82, 83. So and they ain't going nowhere. And at the same time, we have 75 million millennials. And these old people aren't dealing with the issues that are most important to millennials. So we need to be having that conversation. But Peter Ducey is still a douchebag.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Trump is 77. This
77,
the other bot is right. I tell you, AI be getting stuff right sometimes. Sometimes.
Well, they say a clock is always right twice a day, right?
Twice a day.
Yeah.
That's it. And you're right the rest of the day, Barrington. I will hand that to you.
Thank you for the compliment, but no.
Yeah, Austin doesn't agree with that either. So
Barrington's always right. Barrington's the man.
So Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis yesterday lit up House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan for his decision to investigate the Georgia election interference probe that led to the indictment of MAGA head Donald Trump and 18 other defendants in a letter. I mean, guys, we all read it. She accused Jordan of overstepping his congressional authority with his recent request for information pertaining to her investigation. She responded to the letter, said there is no justification in the Constitution for Congress to interfere with the state criminal matter. Of course, Trump was charged in Fulton County last month with racketeering and numerous conspiracy counts in a 41-count indictment, which named, of course, 19 defendants. And Jordan announced that he was launching a congressional probe into Willis's investigation shortly before Trump surrendered. The obvious purpose of Jordan's request, Willis said, is to obstruct a Georgia criminal proceeding and to advance outrageous partisan misrepresentation. She said his public statements and recent letter, quote, make clear that you lack any legitimate legislative purpose for that inquiry. He says your job description as a legislator does not include criminal law enforcement, nor does it include supervising a specific criminal trial, because you believe that doing so will promote your partisan political objectives. Your letter makes clear that you lack a basic understanding of the law, its practice, and the ethical obligations of attorneys generally and prosecutors specifically. And then look, she goes on that while settled constitutional law permits her to, quote, ignore your unjustified and illegal intrusion into an open state criminal prosecution. She said she would reply to some parts of his original letter, but said that if people want to avoid felony charges in Fulton County, such as violations of the state's racketeering laws, then they should not commit those felonies.
Fulton County, very simple. You know what was, I mean, this beatdown was a beatdown unlike any other we have seen. Jim Jordan, met a lawyer, a district attorney, a prosecutor who just happened to also be a Black woman. So he got swung simultaneously from different directions. And you get the impression that, I would bet, never met the woman, but I would bet that she wrote.
Oh, yeah.
That letter herself. Her staff came to her and said,
it was very personal.
Would you like her to give you a draft? No, I got this. I'm going to take my time and work on this. Another thing she said, another smackdown, I'm reading here. I encourage you to read RICO state by state, she wrote. As a non-member of the bar, you can purchase a copy for $249. I mean, just beat down throughout her 9-page letter.
But at the end of the day, guys, Jim Jordan is Donald Trump's poodle.
Exactly.
All he's doing is trying to get information from her to give to Donald Trump. And, it probably is, not probably, it's so galling to these racists that a Black woman knows more than they, smarter than they are, is more principled than they are. They hate it. And I mean, the venom that Orange Pantsuit has for
pantsuit now, a jumpsuit.
Orange jumpsuit as for Black women is it's just amazing, but unsurprising. Yeah. I mean, Jim Jordan is indicative of the rot in politics in this country, because he has ignored a subpoena to come before the January 6th committee.
Yes.
Right? He was under investigation when he was at Ohio State. He was an assistant wrestling coach and knew that the coach was molesting all of those athletes and didn't do shit.
Nothing.
Right? And yet the idiots that live in his constituency, they voted for him.
Yeah. On LinkedIn, Barrington Alexander Bob Page is thanking you and Austin for your incredible coverage of the facts. He says he loves it. I won't take any of the credit there. You guys bring it. And Power 96 said basically she called him dumb and told him to stay in his lane. Yeah. And
didn't he send a lesson?
Wait, Austin.
I'm sorry.
Barrington, take a lesson from Daniel Sistrunk. Daniel Sistrunk says she literally cursed Jim Jordan out without using one word of profanity.
Yes, brilliant, exactly. And didn't he send a similar letter to District Attorney Alvin Bragg up in New York, demanding similar?
Yes.
Turn over all of your documents. Like, I'll report to you.
Right. Bragg. He didn't beat him up. He just said, I ain't doing it. Type of deal.
She beat him up and said, I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
That was a beat up.
But
She handed him his head.
I must prefer this way, because it's nice to humiliate him and let him know that he's not as big a boy as he thinks he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Can you imagine Jim Jordan's staff when that letter was received? Going to him and saying, "You've got to see this letter."
Yeah.
And he
Well,
said,
no, Austin.
and-
I could imagine somebody, the staffer, saying maybe he shouldn't see this.
Oh, exactly. Or if he did, going to him and saying, "You've got to see this letter," and he says, "Oh, what did she say to us? It wasn't addressed to us. It was addressed to you."
It was you. Yeah.
Well, and then she also made this point because she has received countless death threats and racial stuff, in the mail and on the phone. She says because you seem to have a personal interest in this office, you should consider directing the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the racist threats that have come to my staff and me because of this investigation. She was just she nailed everything.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And as of this morning, I was looking at the Morning Joe. As of this morning, they have not. His office has not responded.
They will not respond.
They can't.
How
do you respond?
What's he gonna say?
Quit. Listen. Quit while you're behind.
There you go. Man,
I mean, it's unbelievable.
But I mean, man, we live in extraordinary times politically, because Orange Jumpsuit hasn't stopped personally and using different tools to try to intimidate the prosecutors, the judges, the jury. They have released the names, the addresses, the information of jurors and their families. They've done the same for her. They said that they have like a GPS of where she lives that they've made public, that put the names and ages of her husband, her children, and all that type of stuff. And yesterday on the news, some dude from the FBI was saying, "There's really nothing we can do," and that's like, really?
What?
That's what he said. But it's
Isn't that what they paid for?
There's really nothing we can do when it's dealing with Trump.
Yep, exactly.
Because if we did it, we'd be under the damn jail.
Yeah.
But that letter was brutal. Our brother or sister said that she cursed him out without using profanity.
Yeah.
She also whacked him upside the head with a folding chair without using a folding chair.
And there goes the folding chair.
A verbal folding chair. Yeah, man.
Well, listen, and so we talk a lot about police here in the United States, but 5 retired British police officers on Thursday admitted sending offensive and racist social media messages about Meghan Markle. The men, all in their 60s, were arrested after an investigation by the British outlet BBC, and it sparked an internal police inquiry. And the charges say messages posted in a closed WhatsApp group referred to Harry and Meghan, as well as Prince William and his wife Kate, and the late Queen Elizabeth, and her late husband Prince Philip. Robert Lewis, Peter Booth, Anthony Elsom, Alan Hall, and Trevor Luton pleaded guilty at London's Westminster Magistrates Court to sending by public communication grossly offensive racist messages. All are former members of London's Metropolitan Police Department and spent time with the force's Parliamentary and Diplomatic Protection Branch, which guards politicians and diplomats. The force said none of the suspects was a police officer at the time of the crimes, and a 6th former officer, Michael Chadwell, has denied one count of the same charge, and he will stand trial beginning November 6th, the same day that the other officers are scheduled to receive their sentencing. So, this is, Barrington, no surprise, right?
Hey, let me tell you something. As someone born and raised in London, when my parents went to London in the 1950s, the Teddy Boys were running things. They were skinheads young skinheads that went around killing, maiming, injuring black and brown people. The Metropolitan Police didn't do a goddamn thing. They always said that there was nothing they could do because they didn't know who they were. Margaret Thatcher had something called the SUS law, which is the same thing as a stop and frisk. And all they would do is harass black people all the time. Listen, I always say, people look at London and they say, oh my God, you were born in London. Ain't no thing. Ain't no thing. Because the same garbage that we're dealing with here as black people is the same stuff we're dealing with there. And this is no surprise. I am glad that these things happen, because they always want to try to tell you how enlightened they are and how much they've embraced the people that don't look like them. They're the ones that invited my parents and my parents' generation to come to England to rebuild it after World War II. And what they did, what Theresa May did, she was the head of the Home Office. She destroyed all the records that would prove that these people that came to London were citizens. And they have been deporting them since. They used them, and now they said it's time for you to go. So this for me, and for me, it doesn't make a difference if these guys get any time in jail, because it's not going to change the way they think. And the entire Metropolitan Police is as rotten as most police departments in the United States.
And that's a key point.
And they're not dealing with that.
Well, Mike V says his family was a part of the Windrush generation and left London in the late 70s.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we caught hell for the whole time we were there.
Some of us, including me, used to be comfortable with the phrase, we're referring to police brutality here, where it's just a few bad apples. I'm beyond that. I think I don't think it's a majority of the police, but I think that there are a significant number of police officers everywhere who are racist. I mean, think about how many supporters of Trump there were and are in the FBI. Think of how many supporters of Trump were responsible for guarding Barack Obama during his 8 years of the presidency, and still for the remainder of his life. This is the reality, gentlemen, that we are in.
Yeah. Power 96 says Barrington is in rare form. Not really. That steak is a little overcooked. It's not that rare, is it, Austin?
No. I mean, we're doing this show at 7:30 in the morning. Can you imagine? Let it be known afternoon version with Barrington.
Yeah.
Listen, guys. So down in the South.
One thing real quickly.
Oh, go ahead.
I saw the documentary of what's his name? William? Not William. Harry and Meghan.
Yes.
And her mother, Meghan's mother, said she never gave her the talk.
Right.
And Meghan said she had no idea. How in the hell can you be alive in 2018, 2017
not buying
and
it.
say that you were not aware
Denial.
of how racist
Yeah.
people are?
Listen,
denial of your blackness.
Yeah, and reporting this story, folks. Look. Meghan Markle. A lot of that stuff is just nonsense. Like you said, come on. She didn't know.
She said she ain't know.
Yeah. You that jaded, huh?
But it looks like I got the impression from what I saw that they lived in this bubble.
There's no question.
Her father is white, even though he's a piece of shit. He's white.
Power 96. You're I think you were a little early, but you're right. Go ahead.
he's white. They lived in the Hollywood bubble. So maybe, but it still doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Come on.
You're doing that.
Go sit down, Meghan, with that.
Child, if you, as a black person, don't prepare them for what they're going to meet when they go out in the world.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, even if you were just that, lost, if whatever, come on, you going into this royal family, and you have no idea.
But Stacy, I don't know how many people are aware that the British royal family is German. Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. They're German, and they changed the name during the First World War because they didn't want people to associate them with the Germans, and then in the Second World War with the Nazis. They are German. They are racist. Prince Edward, the one who abdicated in 1936, he was an avowed racist.
Well, even Harry was caught doing a Nazi salute a couple of times, right?
Harry did it at a Halloween party. He wore like a black shirt.
Blackface. Was it blackface or no?
No, it wasn't blackface.
No,
the shirts had the black boot. There was some military unit of the German army that wore like the brown shirts, and he had on a brown shirt with a swastika, and he did the salute.
The bottom line is Meghan got comfortable where she never should have gotten comfortable, and she was shown. They showed her better than they could tell her.
Yeah.
And so that was the bottom line. You know, she messed around and found out too. So there you go. She, you know, and Mike V, I agree 100%. I said this the other day. She was at the Beyonce concert. And Mike V says her black card is so convenient. Come on, go sit down, Meghan. I mean, come on. This story really wasn't about you, Meghan. It was about the cops. So just to be clear, we are not doing it with Meghan. She can keep going when Harry finds his need to be a royal again. She'll find out again. But nonetheless,
you know, Barrington, you notice how when Stacey gets attitude, he gets attitude.
I know.
Stacey goes in. I mean,
it's not an attitude.
He's worse than me.
How dare you?
I don't know if I would go that far, but
thank you.
Move along, Stacey.
Listen, guys, I see you supporting your friend. That's okay.
You know, when I was in DC, you told me you was coming to see me. We were going to have lunch at the Chavis Chronicles, and you didn't show up.
What happened that day? Something happened that
day. Look at that. Something happened. He started praying and left me out of the prayer. That's what happened.
I might have been involved in something a little less prayerful for all.
Okay. I got you.
Oh boy.
Austin is like, oh boy.
I like it. You like it. 8:12. Here we go. He's ready to go there.
He's ready to go. Listen, descendants of enslaved people who populate a tiny island community are once again fighting for their local government. This time, fighting with their local government. This time over a proposal to eliminate protections that, for decades, helped shield the Gullah Geechee residents from high taxes and pressure to sell their land to developers. This has been going on, guys. You know, the Gullah Geechee community is really a special community down in the South, from Georgia to Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and they have been trying. These are folks who have embraced the land that they're you know, it's a rare. These are rare pieces of land that the slaves owned, right, after slavery, and their descendants have been keeping this land, and they have a whole community, and they even got a museum, everything, and so they've been fighting. It's the same old story, guys. Same story, but in this case, the county. If it's not the county, it's the city. If it's not the city, it's the town. Or if it's not the town, it's the state. Constantly trying to get these Black folks, these original descendants of slavery, off this land.
Listen, if it's not clear yet, it should be clear now that anything that Africans in this country own, white people feel like they don't deserve it. It has been, it's amazing to me. Well, it shouldn't be amazing, because history continues to repeat itself. We're dealing with the same issues the same anti-black everything. Theft of land, theft of our name, theft of our history. All of this is just, it's like set, it's on repeat. If you looked at documentaries and stories of the Gullah Geechee in Hilton Head and other descendants of formerly enslaved in Hilton Head, they did the same thing.
Oh yeah, I interviewed those folks and did articles on them a few years ago.
Yeah, they stole all their land to make golf courses and exclusive resort communities for white people. I was wondering as I read the story if those who support this community are gonna put up a good fight, or if they're gonna just put their hands in their lap and let them do it.
Well, one thing's for certain with the Gullah people, those who embrace the Gullah Geechee heritage and lifestyle, they fight. I've in my reporting, in my research, I found that they fight. Scholars say that these people they've long separated from the mainland, retain much of their African heritage from their unique dialect to skills and crafts such as cast net fishing and weaving baskets. They are, survivalists. These are strong individuals, individually and as a group.
Yeah, and to Barrington's point, this white privilege and sense of entitlement and really, ignorance is clearly passed on from generation to generation. So to your point, Stacey, as you found in your research and writings and interviews, it's equally important. It's even more important for the Gullah people, for this fight, for this struggle to be passed on and for it to continue going, because white folk are not going to give up.
No, they're not. They're not, and it's
and
clear.
They're waiting, and they are waiting for the right weak link or linkages to make their move.
Well, look how long we've done this story too. You remember out in California, Long Beach, that family out there. Look how long that they fought and finally got that land back from which is unheard of. They got it back from the government in that sprawling land that they've ultimately sold after getting it back for something like $20 million. But
the question I have is why? Why would you fight for more than a century to get your land back and then sell it back? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, and tells you too that the 20 million that they got for the land and what they've been doing all of these decades with that land. The 20and million was just,
it was
probably the low end of the price.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you we're always dealing with people who you shake $1 or $2 in their face and they get all excited. They have no vision. Because the whole thing for me was the legacy that comes with the land. Something to leave for your children. And they goddamn gave it back. I was so infuriated when I read that.
I remember that, Barrington.
Yeah.
You were.
You heard me cussing.
Well, when don't we hear you cussing? But yes, I do remember your tirade at that point. So, guys, former Donald Trump trade advisor Peter Navarro joined Steve Bannon as a convict. Contempt of Congress for not complying to a subpoena for the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack. He is the second one. As we said, Steve Bannon was convicted last year on 2 contempt counts. Bannon's case is currently on appeal, of course, and Navarro pledged to appeal based on, quote, executive privilege.
Peter Navarro, Dr. Peter Navarro, is a perfect example of someone who has an education but is goddamn stupid. He came on
Ari Melber.
Ari Melber, and recited his involvement in the coup chapter and verse. And Ari said to him, do you understand that you are explaining a coup? And he was like, no. What an idiot. What an idiot.
Yeah. And
by the way, Austin, I think you mentioned this you were watching and you wrote this in, but the Trump Mar-a-Lago folks, they have started to sing.
Yeah, sing, and saying loudly. I mean, can you blame them?
No.
And Denise, was it Denise who made the point yesterday? Watch the these folks. We need to watch the company that we keep, referring to these nuts who got caught up in other folks' nonsense.
Yep.
Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the people who you are associating yourself with for just causes, as well, in particular unjust causes. And she made reference to Ambassador Young in his conversation, going back to Dr. King, saying that they would meet with periodically meet with the police and exchange intelligence. But this guy here is an absolute idiot. And the three of us joked that if we ever got in trouble with the law, we would basically, I think we're in agreement, the three of us, that we would turn each other in. There would be no loyalty.
Barrington said he wouldn't.
Don't put me in that.
What?
Don't put me in that. That's a score you are.
Well, put me in this. If I'm ever threatened with jail, I'm singing.
We've established that.
Yeah.
But seriously,
it's a new pronouncement.
Yeah, if I was, it's one thing to talk nonsense, before you're indicted.
Yeah.
It's another thing to continue talking nonsense after you are convicted.
Yeah.
And as you await sentencing. And the same idiot who was on Ari Melber a couple of years ago is the same idiot who was talking nonsense, before he went to the courthouse yesterday. It is the very same idiot talking nonsense as he left the courthouse yesterday, and facing up to 2 years in prison.
$100,000 per account. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. All these people, him, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and all of them, if they ain't never prayed, they're praying now. Trump becomes president, so he can pardon them. Because the only thing that makes sense with Peter Navarro is that he's hoping that if Trump wins, he pardons him.
Yeah. That's and listen, that's all these 1,100 plus defendants in the January 6th coup attempt.
700 years sentenced, a total of 700 years in prison for all of them.
Listen, Trump had. We've talked about this.
Trump did it. It's Trump's fault.
Trump has 91 felony accounts in all, and in New York, what's Letitia James is hinting at a criminal indictment now against Trump for his business fraud. And the special counsel has found even more evidence and may charge him with even more crimes.
No. My brothers, the most beautiful thing I heard the other day was that Jack Smith is looking to see if he can take all the money that Trump has gotten because he got it under fraudulent circumstances.
Yeah,
I think that alone would kill Trump.
so that, what, and we talk about this with the RICO all the time. So folks get arrested. RICO used to be for the gangsters and the drug dealers, right? And they take their assets immediately.
Yeah.
And this is another example of what has not happened to Donald Trump. But now, as you said, Barrington, you're right. The special counsel is like, wait a minute, we can take his assets.
But you know what I also read yesterday? I'm like, man, Trump's days couldn't get worse. Because they said that the mugshot that he took, that they can take the proceeds from the mugshot because he's not legally allowed to use it as
he doesn't have the rights.
I didn't hear that. Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So it's just getting better and better.
It's getting better and better. Barrington says.
And couldn't there be potential additional indictments
Well,
for
they said
Trump
that,
with Jack Smith?
Yeah.
They said
mean-
that the grand jury in DC started meeting again yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're speculating that it's going to be more
Barrington,
charges.
how come when I said that a few minutes ago, Austin's on the show and not paying attention? I mean, come on.
Austin has.
No, I heard. I'm just re-emphasizing the point. Thank you very much, Stacey.
Yeah, he has other things on his mind.
You see how quickly Stacey will turn on you?
That's why you better not go into no criminal enterprise with him, because he sell you out in a minute.
I'm like, wow, Stacey just sold me out on his own show. I was listening. I heard. I'm just re-emphasizing the point.
He's got somebody over there, Barrington, and he can't wait to say thanks for joining us, so he can join whomever.
He can't wait to get back to DC. He has business here in DC.
Actually, I'm at my make you laugh. I don't say this too loud. I'm at my mom's house in Philadelphia. So if you all notice me take the camera and shift it, my mother just came down in her nightgown, going in the back to wash clothes. I want to say, Mom, what are you doing?
Just say hi to Mom. Bring Mom on so we can say hi to her. Be like me, because Stacey's always like, Mimi's in the shot again.
Hey, Mike V, what do you think, Mike V? Barrington brings me. We are in the middle of talking about a deadly crime or something, and Mimi comes over and kisses him and stuff, and on air. It's like, come on, come on. How much of that can we take?
Mimi's my energy boy. You understand that? She's my fuel.
She's his Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody needs some Red Bull.
That's right.
And speaking of nitwits and this, and criminals, I'm gonna throw this in before we wrap up with Dorothy Dandridge. So word came out that Tory Lanez was offered a plea deal. Remember, he was facing 20 years, and what he got 10 or whatever he got 10, 12 years or whatever.
He didn't take it.
Offered a plea deal of 4 years and didn't take it. What an idiot.
Yeah, but Enrique Tarrio was offered a plea deal of 11 years and didn't take it, and now he's sitting on 22.
Double.
He's sitting on 22.
Well, that is well deserved.
Oh yeah, of course.
Good. I feel no sympathy for him.
And the great thing about that is federal time.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if the Aryan Nation going to take care of him when he goes to prison.
Are you really wondering that?
Yeah, I am, because he gave his heart and soul to Trump.
Can you imagine facing 22 years in prison? What has it been, like 3 days since he was formally sentenced? Mm-hmm. So you wake up, where am I? Okay, I'm in jail. Yeah. How long have I been here? 3 days. But out of 22 years, 3 days out of 22 years.
But Austin, the difference for me is that he's young. Somebody like Stuart Rhodes is going to be like almost 80 when he gets out of prison.
Yeah.
So his whole goddamn life is done.
All because they all did the whole Jim Jones thing. They drank that Kool-Aid, and even went beyond that. A lot of that, yes, it was just their devotion to Trump, most of it, and then another part of that was just their sheer the privilege part. Not Enrique. Well, Enrique somehow thinks that he had the privilege, but the privilege thing, and the fact that you saw Stuart Rhodes and all of them outside afterwards saying, "Yeah, we took it. We took the building, and we did this." And they were boasting, and Ontario, just as recently as early this year, had put on social media these crazy, unremorseful comments, and I'd do it again. And then he gets in front of the judge this week.
Stop begging.
Start back. Oh, don't take my 40s away. I want to see my daughter grow up and graduate.
Should have thought about that beforehand.
You're right.
You know what's interesting? I would be very suspect of supporting someone like Stuart Rhodes, who shot himself in the eye. That's why he's wearing that patch in him, because he shot himself in the eye, messing around with a gun. Nah.
That's ridiculous. Mike V says Jared Kushner will be the next to go down. Then they will come with Don Jr. Ivanka will be the nail in the coffin.
Yep.
They need to take down the whole crime family.
No. Right? It's not going to be the nail. He's not going to jail.
Who's that?
Jared.
Jared, no.
This is just kabuki theater. This is just performative. He's not going to jail.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to make the example of someone who, when they leave office, that they can make all that money.
Yeah, you know what? Just to backtrack just a minute. Greer mentions too, and I forget which one it was. One of the last three Proud Boys.
Yeah.
One of them groveling, and then after he got sentenced, he yells out as he's being taken away, "Trump won!"
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And the judge should have brought him back into the courtroom
and
and
said,
given
"Okay."
him additional time.
Yep.
Added some more time.
Now I'm going to sit here and watch you leave this courtroom, and let me see what you have to say now.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, it was and on this date in 1965 that Dorothy Dandridge, who was torn apart and eaten up by racist and exploitative Hollywood, committed suicide. She was born on November 9th, 1922 in Cleveland, and she was a superb actress, singer, and dancer who became a national and international star, and the first African American female actor nominated for both an Academy Award for Best Actress when she played Carmen Jones, and later a Golden Globe for her performance in Porgy and Bess. She also showcased her singing and dancing talent in Las Vegas during the 1950s, where a portion of Beach Street that runs through the West Side Black community was renamed for her. Dorothy and her slightly older sister Vivian were called the Wonder Children when their mother, Ruby Dandridge, a former entertainer, launched them into show business as young children. They sang in Black churches around the country during the Great Depression, and as economic conditions deteriorated, Ruby moved them to Hollywood to promote their careers. After changing their group name and teaming with a school friend, Etta James, the Dandridge sisters garnered moderate success before achieving acclaim in New York at the famed Cotton Club and also in Europe. Dorothy's career path had seemingly been designed by Lena Horne, but she created her own legacy by achieving greater, if more brief success as a movie actress. However, unlike Lena Horne, Dorothy succumbed to the depths of Hollywood exploitation. Film studios recognized her considerable acting talents, but to her detriment, promoted a sultry and sexy persona for her. She lived in an era when Black actresses and actors were denied equal footing with leading white actresses and actors, limiting their ability to demonstrate the full dimensions of their acting skills. Man, you know, it's even though it happened so long ago, it's still painful. So sad.
It's still painful.
Yeah. You know, I think about her, and I always just kind of lament the fact that this country and this Western European system, we are fodder. Black people are fodder for the system. I think about all of the smart, intelligent, savvy Black people in this country that have never gotten the opportunity to maximize their skills, their expertise. You know, we have this narrative, this lie of meritocracy in this country, you know. But at the end of the day, unless you're willing to play the game, unless you're willing to assimilate, unless you're willing to, like for me as an immigrant, people have always told me that if I want to be successful, I need to speak like an American. I need to not recognize or lift up my Caribbean heritage. And, you know, there are people that I know who have decided to do that. And at the end of the day, you give away your soul and you still don't get the things that you want. I mean, as a journalist, every year for the 39 years that I've been writing, the American Society of Newspaper Editors have said that their goal is to have 13% Black representation in newsrooms. They've never come close. We have a system that continues to marginalize anybody who's not a white male so-called Christian. And it breaks my heart to see how many people like Miss Dandridge never get the opportunity, because she went through hell. I think I read that she had like $2 in her bank account when she died.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's what they said.
It's a similar story of Josephine Baker.
Yeah.
Remember, I mean, it's just when you think about it, and Mike V says all the intellectual property developed by Black people, that generational wealth squandered at the hands of Anglo-Saxon people.
And it's Mike V is so right, because I was reading the story the other day about all of the patents in this country that are owned by white people but developed and created by Black people. Black people don't get a penny of that. They're building intergenerational wealth and living lovely lives, and Black people have nothing.
Yeah,
or very little. Uncle Nearest, the whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey maker. Yeah,
that's the Black guy that made Jack Daniels. It's the one that made the whiskey. And those.
Here's the thing with that. Let me say this. The thing with that, Uncle Nearest, so you make Uncle Nearest. The problem becomes this, right? They didn't, they're the ones, you're right. They made Jack Daniels, and Jack Daniels, did whatever, made all that money, whatever. Uncle Nearest, people love, you go to Tennessee, but where are the Black folks working for Uncle Nearest?
What do you mean, where are they?
They don't exist, Barrington.
They don't have any Black folks working for them?
Not in any positions of consequence. Not that we've been able to find.
I thought that Black people were the one that started Uncle Nearest.
They may own it, but if you recall some years ago, and I had this problem, and totally Randy gets upset when I bring this up. But they went when Jay-Z started Tidal. I don't know if it's still the case now, but when they went into the offices, it's all white folks. There was not. They had this big Jay-Z and Beyonce there, and all the big time employees there, whatever.
Were white.
It's like when Oprah has her favorite thing show, when she used to have a show, the audience,
predominantly
you can
white.
Find a Black person in the audience. My sister says they I guess she's talking about Tidal, or no, she's talking about Uncle Nearest have a Black woman CEO.
Yeah, that's what.
But you can't talk to Black folks at Uncle Nearest if you. I mean, look, we have tried.
Hard to find them. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
They're hard to find.
I didn't know that. That's
apparently they don't do business with they don't do any partnerships or anything with certainly no media partnerships with Black folks. Yeah. So,
but I
have a problem with them.
That's a big problem, because.
So I'll continue to drink my Irish whiskey then and give it to the Irish people.
No, I mean you're supposed to give money to those that are giving back.
Right. So until they can show otherwise.
Yeah.
It's like, that's nice.
We're often our own enemies.
Our biggest enemies.
Yeah, we're often our own enemies. We're our worst enemies. It's
not looking back.
Look, we did the story
and thereby
yesterday.
Giving back.
Yeah,
no,
and we did
the white man's ice is always colder. I am, as I said, next year will be 40 years since I became a paid professional writer, and I'm an overnight. So every couple of years, I'm an overnight success. Oh my God, you write so well. Where did you learn to write so well? It's like, well, shit, I went to school.
Right. It's like
I have moderate intelligence.
Dr. Draper tells the story so well. When she broke the story about the mayor in Baltimore quitting, and she comes out with the story, and CNN and AP calls her up and says, basically, who was your source? When the mayor herself was her source, by the way.
Wow,
and how did you get it? As is to say that the Afro.
Who is this?
Dr. Draper, the Afro.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
As is to say, the Afro can't develop their own sources. Black media can't develop it. There, come on.
Oh, it had to be hand me down for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's absurd. Barrington, like you said, 40 years you've been doing this, and if anybody reads any of his articles, his 7,000 word articles, they will know that this guy is very educated and very good at what he does.
And can write. Yep.
Yes. So come on. I've been doing it for 30. I'm still learning from Barrington though.
Oh yeah, whatever. I was in the trenches, bruh. First job I got as a journalist, I didn't have no clips, and I went to this small newspaper and asked the dude if I could, write. Wrote a story, and he said, "You ain't write this." So I sat in the office, told him, "Give me an assignment." Wrote the story, and he was like, "I guess you did." And then he said, "I ain't got no money, so you got to work for free." So for the first 3 months, I worked for free because I needed clips. And they got rid of him. And the young lady who came on, she was like, "Why are you working for free?" I said, "Because your boy said he ain't got no money." And she's like, "Oh, that's bullshit. This is your salary starting tomorrow."
Nice.
Very good. Very good.
Nice. I'll never forget Teresa Supplied, Los Angeles Daily News, hired me, and I was so happy. I was in LA, and she hired wonderful person, hired me, and my first news job, I was a news desk assistant, right? And I go to New York to kind of, before the job starts, she calls me up and she goes, when you start your first paycheck, she says, "You're going to find out that I got you more money." When do you ever hear that?
Really?
And, it just took off from there. I mean, look, you have to prove yourself over and over and over again. Whereas you see these other folks, they write one halfway decent article, and all of a sudden they are the next post.
Somebody want to nominate them for a Pulitzer. Yep.
Yeah.
But Stacy, I have met people with standing in the journalism community, and when you see their raw copy, you want to run.
Yeah.
They can't write their way out of a paper bag.
Listen,
they should be giving all their money to their editors because their editors make them look good.
We have seen that in so many places.
Yeah, I know.
we have definitely seen that. Please tell the story. What's the story? What story are we supposed to tell? The Grid says, "Tell the story." Did somebody hold back in telling the story?
How you got off the desk?
Oh, how I got off the news desk. Well, so I got off the news desk. I told them I'm going to be a reporter. They was like, yeah, news assistant does not become reporter. Right. And you have no experience, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's why I'm here, to get experience.
Yeah,
exactly.
But nonetheless, so it happens to do with Bill Cosby. And so his son, if you remember, was murdered.
Yeah.
So I was always the first one in the newsroom, right? I loved the newsroom back then anyway, in the 90s. Loved the newsroom.
Yeah.
And so I was always the first one. The reporters wouldn't come in usually till like 10, 11 o'clock. And I'm like, wow, they come in late. I get in, it's 7:30 in the morning. I'm walking in.
You're prepared to work. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I was just loving the atmosphere, and I was committed to being a reporter. And they were not going to be able to say, well, he doesn't show up on time. Whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Cosby's son is killed, and there's no reporter. The editor is there and looking for a reporter, and I'm like, I can do it, He's like, whatever. Then so it comes over the scanner. So they found out that it was Cosby's kid. They said Cosby's son, Bill Cosby's son, and they wanted to hold the information or whatever. And I'm like, okay, great. And so they about to run a story. The Daily News of Los Angeles was about to run this story that said Malcolm Jamal Warner was killed.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, no. And I said, that's not Bill Cosby. And you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you can't be a reporter.
Yeah.
Run that story and see how embarrassed you. So finally I convinced the guy, Steve, I forget his last name, but he was the assistant city desk editor. All right, whatever you got, we can't get a reporter. So they're about to run this awful story that Malcolm Jamal Warner was killed in the Sapelo passing. So I finally get the information. It's Cosby's son, and he only has one son, Ennis Cosby.
Yeah, Ennis. Yeah.
and we were the first out with it, and obviously it was right. It wasn't Malcolm Jamal Warner, and they were
The
like,
TV
they called
son,
me
yeah.
in. They called me in. We all look alike.
Yeah.
They called me in and was like thanking me so much. What a great job, etc. Like, you know what? Here's the thing. And Barbara Jones was her name, and you know, I didn't like Barbara. Barbara was a hypocrite. She's white assistant editor too, and but she was like, you know, we got a job opening as cops and courts reporter in Santa Clarita, and are you interested? I was like, see, I was like a little kid. I was like, I told you.
Told you.
Yeah. So you took it? You took the job?
Absolutely.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, imagine that. The newsroom of a major daily newspaper
Yep,
in a major city.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
This
I mean,
is
such a basic fact. Such
I
a
know.
basic fact. They were
We
We all
wrong
look
on.
alike. We all look alike.
People say, you know, people question sometimes when that question comes up, is the black press still relevant? Why is the black press still relevant? For simple things like that.
Like that. Yeah.
We start there.
But I got stopped when I was going to school. I was in junior college. I got stopped, like 3 police cars and motorcycles and all this stuff, because they claimed that some black dude mugged a woman. The dude they're looking for was 6'6" in a brown suede top and bottom. I'm 6 foot tall, dark-skinned dude with an afro. I'm a light-skinned dude with an afro with a white t-shirt and military jeans. And these assholes had me hemmed up saying that I'm the dude that robbed the woman.
6'6", huh?
6'6". So they don't care.
Crazy.
No.
Every black person's a black person.
Same height, same complexion. Yep. Crazy.
I was like, wow.
Barrington and Hills is not 6'6".
There you go. unless I got on Bootsy Collins' heels.
Right.
Dude.
But this is, you know, again, we talk about Uncle Nearest, and this is another frustrating thing when you can't get successful black folks to reach back.
But it's all education, Stacy. It's education, it's consciousness. Because everything that we are taught in this country is to denigrate, marginalize, overlook who we are.
But Barrington, sometimes it's even surprising the source. We went through this year something incredible, and I'm going to talk about it. Hip hop 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We were asked. We were provided this, supposedly provided this opportunity. We're gonna cover it, right? We got to cover hip hop 50th anniversary. We black press. We got to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
But unsolicited, we were told, we want you guys there. We want you backstage at Yankee Stadium. They approached us, right? Then all of a sudden, the individual who approached us started ghosting us. Because we trying to set things. You can't just go to a major event like that, right, without preparation. So
he didn't ask Master's permission, so he stepped up. He stepped up.
Therein lies the problem. He stepped out of line and then ghosted us.
Man,
right? I spoke to him or that individual on through later through Russell Simmons, you know, and MC Light called me as well, and she was like, "Listen, why don't y'all cover the block party or whatever?" I'm like, "No, this is what we were told," and you know, she was like, "Well, I'll see what I can do," you know. And you know, and I didn't hear back from her. I was surprised she even reached out.
Yeah.
But I think she reached out because Russell had asked her to reach out. And but then
so Russell couldn't pull no strings?
Well, Russell's
didn't
got
want
his
to pull
own
any
things
strings.
going. Yeah, he's got his own stuff going, and you know that certainly I can't blame him for that one. I mean, he did make some calls, and you know, the problem here was Greer and I was not going to beg anybody. Y'all approached us, and then you know this is, but they told us about this other entity. I think I forget, was the NBC or somebody else, some mainstream outlet had the, you know, it was like the media giving them money, blah blah blah. That's fine. We wasn't trying to take anybody's place.
Yeah, you just wanted to be there.
Well, we wanted to be there in large part because you presented this opportunity to us.
Yeah.
And we, you know, our viewers, our readers, you know, we figured, wow, what an opportunity to really give them some real insight.
Yeah.
Right. Particularly headed into next year when they're going to open that wonderful new museum.
Hip hop museum. Yep.
So it was like, come on.
We got a lot of things. We got a lot of house cleaning to do. Black people got a lot of house.
And you know, living, you know, giving back, looking back, giving back, you know, uplifting those who came behind us or coming behind us, you know, requires an understanding and appreciation that we are standing of whose shoulders we are standing on. And that really had to be taught in the home.
Yeah. And the thing is that the whole capitalist mentality, this individualism, this pulling yourself out by the bootstraps, is antithetical to what Austin's talking about.
Well, and it turns out like Nas's company, Mass Appeal, was handling. Turns out they decided to handle the Yankee Stadium celebration. And you mean to tell me Nas didn't think about the black press? Come on. None of these guys.
Only time
Run DMC didn't think about the black press.
The only time they call is when they're getting ready to be put in jail.
That's it.
Or they get hemmed up by the criminal justice system. Then they want you to do the story.
Absolutely.
Then they remember they're black.
Yeah.
Right. They start remembering.
Yeah.
Now oh, come on, brother.
Yeah.
Right. Now we brothers.
I got there, brother.
Yeah. You think Enrique remembers now that he's black?
Oh no, he's gonna remember when he get there and have a nice boyfriend.
He's already there. He's already there.
He'll remember when he has to be introduced to his boyfriend.
Probably already has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all ain't right.
It's sad. No, but it's sad.
Yeah. And like you said, all these folks, and this is not just conjecture. They will be calling again.
Yeah.
Right. Because they have called again. Right.
Yep.
All of them who have strayed, you know, and I, you know, I think if he lives long enough, believe it or not, Clarence Thomas at some point is going to be calling on black folks for something. If he lives long enough.
No,
I think so.
I don't believe
Candace Owens. Candace Owens actually.
Candace is gonna come back.
Yeah, like what's her name that was telling people they're gonna kiss Trump's ring? The
Omarosa.
Omarosa. Boy, oh boy.
But you know what's interesting? Candace Owens' husband owns Parler. And I'm surprised they haven't been caught up in all this Trump stuff yet, because Parler is a place where all the coup plotters and the insurrectionists have been plotting to overthrow the government.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
Well, Candace Owens, you remember before she became this wacko, who helped her?
The NAACP. The NAACP, when them white boys were trying to beat her butt. Yeah.
She says, Greer said Candace Owens' husband owns her. He's part of the royal family.
Oh, Lord.
On that note, guys, we it's Friday, so we just took liberties with the time, and we appreciate both of you as always. As Barrington, you know, it's all right to join us sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, we've been calling you.
Listen.
Right, Austin?
Uh-oh.
Come on, Austin. Back me up on this.
No, I'm just saying,
Greer's going to back you up. Here's the thing. I'm an old man.
Yes, you are.
And sometimes
you need your sleep.
I need my sleep.
You need your sleep?
Yeah. Because I got a call the other day, and it was like 5 minutes before time to appear. And I looked at it and it's like, oh God. And I went back to sleep.
At least he's honest.
It's true. It's true.
Are we approaching Geritol days?
I've been in Geritol days. What are you talking about? I've been in Geritol days. Some days
Greer said she just thought you forgot to pay your phone bill or something.
Yeah. That's because Greer ain't pay me.
Look at
Ooh.
that.
Ooh. Shots fired. Shots fired.
That hurt right there, man.
Did you want to go there?
Speaking of senior moments,
I have senior moments all the time. I am.
Power 96. Look, Power 96 says, I am always here. I have a lot of time on my hands. Power 96, we reach
Thanks,
out
Power
to you
96.
too, Power 96. We trying to get in touch with you.
For him to what? For him to come on?
We want Power 96 on.
Come on.
We want to talk about some HBCU stuff with Power 96.
Greer. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you.
See, she got you. Her and Austin had a big fight the other day. Did you know that, Barrington?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh man, it was nasty.
He's lucky he's still alive.
Oh yeah,
I am.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You better look over your shoulder.
We talked about how Fani handed Jordan his head and his lunch.
Yeah.
And she was about to give it to Austin. Austin had to quit.
You ain't no joke. I just quit. I said quit. I packed up my marbles and walked away.
You're like
You
Power
went.
96. You got to send us your number.
No mess.
You can email me Power 96 sbrown@nnpa.org. sbrown@nnpa.org. Everybody has that email.
Stacey Brown.
That's it, guys. It's been great. What are y'all doing this weekend? We got 2 minutes.
I got a wedding.
Oh, who's getting married?
Friend, son of some friends of the family.
All right. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'm about to pack up and head back down to DC.
If you're doing what?
I'm in Philadelphia at my mom's house. I'm about to pack up and got to do a Zoom at 9, and then go ahead work my way back to Washington. No real plans.
He's always so busy.
Always.
Got a Zoom.
Trying to make a living. I'm not wealthy like the two of you.
You're not what?
I'm not wealthy like the two of you.
The CBCF's annual legislative conference is coming up on the 20th, guys.
Right.
Austin and I sat down with the co-chair, Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock. You will see that interview coming up next week. And we had a nice time. Austin asked some hard-hitting questions. And so we will y'all got to stay tuned for that and check that out.
You can't rattle a good reverend.
Well, I don't think his purpose was to rattle him.
Oh.
He just wanted some honest answers about, certain very, very significant
pertinent issues of the day.
Good.
That's it. He wasn't trying to rattle him. He's not like you, Barrington. Barrington's always trying to get under people's skin. What is that about?
No, I don't. I just ask hard questions.
Well, Barrington, you kind of like getting under people's skin, don't you?
He asked a very hard question.
I know.
I like that. Because if you're weak enough that I get under your skin, then I'm gonna have fun.
Yep.